Hello everyone. Let's discuss numericals of well control. This particular question was asked in GATE 2016. Let's look at the question. Producing well has a shut-in tubing pressure of 3950 psi for crude oil of specific gravity of 0.69. We need to find out the kill fluid density at a TVD for a TVD of 11,600. Okay, as we know, my kill fluid density equal to original mud weight plus shut-in tubing pressure divided by the TVD into 0.052. Okay, so over here we need to place all the values to get my answer as 12.298 ppg. Okay, since over here 0.69 has been given, so we will be multiplying 8.33 with 0.69. So my density would be 5.75 pound per gallon. Alright, now let's move further. This particular question was asked in GATE 2017. Let's look at the question. A self-flowing production well of depth 3000 meter having oil with density 850 kg per meter cube is shut in for a workover job. The shut-in pressure at the surface is 70 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. The density of the mud required to kill the well will be dash. We need to find out the kill mud density. Okay, now the depth is given as 3000 meter. Density is 850 kg per meter cube and shut-in pressure is given as 70 into 10 raised to 5. Alright, so again, very simple numerical. We need to find out the kill mud density. So original mud weight is given as 850 plus the shut-in tubing pressure is given divided by 9.81 into 3000. Okay, as we know that pressure is equal to rho gh. On doing that, I will get my kill mud density as 1087. Okay, again this is a very simple numerical. Let's move further. This particular question was asked in GATE 2017. Over here, the figure below shows the pressure measured in a well at different depths. AB is the gas cap. This particular position is the gas cap. B is the oil contact and C is the water oil contact. Okay, that means my BC, layer BC would be oil and my layer CD would be water. Alright, let's move further. Density of gas in the gas cap is given as 2 kg per meter cube, oil density is 800 kg per meter cube and water density is given as 1000 kg per meter cube. We need to find out the difference between pressure at point D and point B. Alright, again this is a very simple numerical. Now to find out the pressure at point D, at the pressure that at the surface till this 1000 meter, let this be point P. Let this be a variable, unknown variable P. Okay, P plus the pressure due to the gas cap volume plus the oil column and plus the water column. Okay, once we are doing that, so I will get P plus 7.85 into 10 raised to 5. Okay, so this is my pressure at point D. Now to calculate my pressure at point B, what I will do is that again P, that means from the top surface to the depth of 1000 meter, I will consider my unknown value P plus my gas cap columns weight. Okay, so my pressure at point B would be P plus 0.001962 into 10 raised to 5. Okay, now we need to find out the difference, that is PD minus PB. I will get, once I subtract PD minus PB, my answer would be 7.8 into 48 into 10 raised to 5. This particular question was asked in GATE 2018. We need to find out the primary and secondary indicators of kick in a well where the indicators are. Oh, alright. Now we need to take into consideration that my primary indicators means my positive signs and secondary indicators means my early signs. Okay. Let's look at the option. My flow rate increase is my positive sign of kick. So it is the primary sign of kick. My gas, oil or water cut muds, this is a early sign of kick. That means it is a secondary indicator. Pit volume increase, that is a positive sign of kick, that means it is a primary indicator. Flowing well with mud pump shut off, it is a positive sign of kick which implies a primary indicator. Reduction in drill pipe weight, this is a early sign of kick which implies secondary indicator. And drilling rate again is a secondary indicator which means it is a early sign of kick. So looking at the option, D would be the correct one. Again, this particular question was asked in GATE 2018. Let's look at the question. Driller finds an oil reservoir with a gas cap starting at a depth of 1000 meter from the surface. So over here I have drawn a figure. 1000 meter is the top of the gas cap. The gas oil contact was found at 1100 meter depth. My gas oil contact is at 1100 meter, and oil water contact was found at 1300 meter. This is my oil water contact. The water pressure in the aquifer below the oil zone varies with the depth from the surface as P equal to H into 10 raised to 4. Alright, so this is my pressure variation beneath the oil zone, that is in the aquifer zone my pressure would be H into 10 raised to 4. Alright, the density of the oil is 900 kg per meter cube and that of the gas is 5 kg per meter cube at the reservoir condition. The minimum density of the mud needed to stop the gas cap when the driller reaches the top of the gas cap has to be found. Alright, now again in the abnormal pressure, when I was discussing my theory about abnormal pressure, I have mentioned the technique to find out the mud weight that we will be using when we are drilling a gas cap. Okay, so what we will be doing over here is that now we need to find out what would be the pressure at the top of the gas cap. H is 10 raised to 4 Pascal per meter. Okay, so what I will be doing is that I will be multiplying my P by H with depth. Okay, that means till 1300 I will be multiplying. Once I multiply, that means I have my pressure till this point. Alright, that is till the top of the aquifer. So if I am multiplying 10 raised to 4 into 1300, I will get my pressure at the till the depth of aquifer. Minus, I will now deduct the oil layer column thickness and my gas cap pressure. Okay, that means on deducting it, as we know that my oil layer thickness is 200, multiply by my density into the gravity, minus 100 which is my thickness of gas cap, into 5 which is my density, and into 9.81 which is the G value. Okay, on doing that my final answer would be, that is the pressure at the gas cap I obtained as 112.3 into 10 raised to 5 Pascal. Okay, now once I have the pressure, I can calculate mud weight, because pressure is equal to rho GH. Mud weight is 1144. Okay, that is 1144.75 kg per meter cube. This is the mud weight that I will be using when I will drill this particular reservoir. Alright, now let's move further. This particular question was asked in GATE 2019. Again, it's a very simple numerical. Let's look at the question. In an oil well, the pressure at the GOC at a depth of 2000 meter is 205 bar. Okay, that means at this depth my pressure is given as 205 bar. The static oil pressure gradient is 0.08 bar per meter in the pay zone. Okay, for this particular column of oil, my static oil pressure is given as 0.08 bar per meter. If a constant hydrostatic pressure gradient of 0.1 bar per meter prevails throughout the subsurface, then the thickness of the oil column, again a very simple numerical. Let's look at the solution. Let H, what I will be doing over here is I will be considering the height of the column as H. Okay, now once I have it, what I will be doing is that at this point, that is at this particular point, my pressure would be 0.1 into 2000 plus H. Okay, again I know my top of the gas cap is at 2000 meter plus my height. Okay, so that I will be reaching this layer. So 2000 plus H into 0.1. 0.1 is my pressure gradient. Okay, so I will get the pressure over here as 0.1 into 2000 plus H equal to, on the right hand side, now let's look at the pressure. Over here I know that at the top of the gas cap I have 205 bar plus the oil column's pressure. Okay, plus oil column's pressure, again 0.08 is given as my static oil gradient multiplied by height. On multiplying it, I will get my pressure due to the oil column. Okay, on opening the bracket, I will get 200 plus 0.1 H equal to 205 plus 0.08 H. Okay, taking H as a subject of equation, I will get the height of the oil column as 250 meter. Very simple numerical. Okay, now let's look at this particular numerical. Over here, a 9.5 pound per gallon drilling fluid is circulated through the drill pipe and the annulus. Over here, a 9.5 pound per gallon drilling fluid is circulated through the drill pipe and the annulus. The frictional pressure loss gradient in the annulus is 0.15. Calculate the equivalent circulating density in pound per gallon. As we know, now when I'm circulating the drilling fluid, I will be having friction. This is the journey of my drilling fluid. That is, from the drill string, my drilling fluid will go through the drill pipe to the bit, and from the bit, that is from the bottom, now the drilling fluid will be circulated upwards through the annulus. Okay, now when my drilling fluid is moving upwards, obviously my friction will be acting downwards. Okay, as a result, I will experience some annular pressure losses. Now when I am experiencing annular pressure losses, at that time my ECD would be, this is the formula for finding out ECD, that will be equal to my current mud weight plus my annular pressure loss divided by 0.052 into TVD. Okay, now on placing the values, my ECD will be 12.4 pound per gallon. That means my original mud weight was 9.5 pound per gallon. Now because of this annular pressure loss, my ECD would be 12.4 pound per gallon. In this particular numerical, we need to determine the bottom hole pressure loss and the equivalent mud weight at the true vertical depth due to filling up of water into annulus. Given data is mud weight is given as 13 pound per gallon, water added is 140 barrel, weight of water is given as 8.6 pound per gallon, annular capacity is given as 0.1422 barrel per feet, and my TVD is given as 6000 feet. Okay, now very first thing that we need to find out is the height of the water column in the annulus. That would be equal to the volume of water divided by my annular capacity. Okay, on doing that, my height of the fluid column or the height of the water column will be 985 feet. That means, now let's look at this particular figure. That means my 985 feet of the annulus would be filled with water. Okay, now rest everything would be my drilling mud. Okay, now to find out the new bottom hole pressure, that would be equal to 6000 minus 985, okay, into 0.052 into 13, obvious, plus 985 into 8.6 into 0.052. Okay, so my new bottom hole pressure would be 3830 psi, and my initial bottom hole pressure would be, that means when my entire system was filled with my mud, at that time my initial bottom hole pressure was 6000 into 0.052 into 13, that was 4056 psi. Now the bottom hole pressure reduction due to the addition of water in the annulus is 4056 minus 3830. My loss would be 226 psi. Okay, now because of this loss, my equivalent mud weight will be equal to original mud weight minus the BHP reduction divided by 0.052 into TVD. Now on placing the values, I will get my equivalent mud weight as 12.3 pound per gallon. Okay, a very simple numerical. All we need to do is to understand the problem and solve it accordingly. Okay, now let's move further. In this particular question, I have two parts of the question. In the first part, I need to find out what would be my new pump pressure with new pump rate. Okay, that means my pump pressure at 60 SPM is 800 psi. TVD is given, measured depth is given, and I need to calculate the pump pressure at 30 SPM. Okay, during my well killing session time, I had discussed that I would be keeping my, that means while well killing, I would be keeping my pump pressure at slow circulation rate. Let's look at the solution. As we all know, my pump pressure would be directly proportional to the square of the SPM, okay, where SPM is the strokes per minute. Now using this correlation, my new pump pressure would be equal to old pump pressure into SPM 2 divided by SPM 1 the whole square. Okay, now on placing the values, my new pump pressure calculated at 30 SPM would be 200 psi. Okay, a very simple numerical. Now let's look at the part B of the question. Over here, my new pump, I need to calculate my new pump pressure with when I am using a new mud weight. Okay, now it is given in the question that my pump pressure with 11 pound per gallon mud is 800 psi. TVD and measured depth is given. We need to calculate the pump pressure with when I am using a 12 pound per gallon at same SPM. That means when I am changing the mud system, at that time what would be my new pump pressure, that we need to calculate. Okay, now my pump pressure will be directly proportional to the mud weight. Okay, using this relation, my P2 will be equal to P1 into MW2 divided by MW1. Okay, that means P1 is my old pump pressure into my new mud weight divided by old mud weight. Now placing the values, I will get my new pump pressure, that is 173 psi. Okay, again a very simple numerical. All we had to do is to remember this particular relationship. Okay, that is my pump pressure is directly proportional to the square of the SPM, and my pump pressure is directly proportional to the mud weight. Okay, once we know this relationship, this particular problem is a very simple thing. Let's move further. In this particular question, we need to calculate the ICP, that is my initial circulating pressure, and my FCP, which is final circulating pressure. The given data is drilling fluid density is 11.5 pound per gallon, TVD is given as 11,000 feet, measured depth is 12,500 feet, my slow circulation rate at 30 SPM is given as 300 psi, shut-in drill pipe pressure is 500 psi, and my shut-in casing pressure is 700 psi. Again, we know the formula of ICP, which is SIDPP plus KRP, where KRP is my kill rate pressure. 500 plus 300, my ICP would be 800 psi. Now to calculate the kill mud weight, we know the formula, that is current mud weight plus SIDPP divided by 0.052 into TVD. On placing the values, I will get my kill mud weight as 12.37 pound per gallon. Now to find out the final circulation pressure, we know the formula that FCP would be equal to the kill mud weight divided by current mud weight into the kill rate pressure. Okay, kill mud weight, we found that the kill mud weight we have 12.37 and my current mud weight is 11.5 into 300, which is my kill rate pressure. My FCP would be 322.6 psi. Okay, again a very simple numerical, but we have to remember this ICP, kill mud weight and FCP formula. Let's move further. In this particular question, we need to calculate the mass. Okay. Now the given data is my maximum drill fluid density is 14.25 pound per gallon, current fluid density is 12 pound per gallon, TVD and measured depth is given, my casing shoe depth is given as 7,000 feet, and my measured depth of the casing shoe is 8,500 feet. Okay. Now this is the formula. Again, while discussing my theory session, I had discussed the formula of mass or maximum allowable annular surface pressure, which will be equal to the maximum allowable mud density minus my current mud density into 0.052 into the casing shoe depth. Okay, on placing the values, I will get my mass as 819 psi. Again, this mass, let me discuss over here, is now let this be the casing shoe depth. Okay, again we know that this particular point, that is this particular depth, will be the least competent formation, and there are high chances that if I am using a heavier mud weight, it will fracture this particular formation. Alright, so this determination of mass is a very critical parameter when we are going for drilling. Now coming to part 2 of the question. In part 2 we need to find out the maximum allowable mud density. Over here the data given are LOT or leak off test mud density is 11.5 pound per gal, TVD measured depth, casing shoe TVD, casing shoe measured depth, and the surface leak off pressure is given. Now to find out the maximum allowable mud density, this is the formula where my maximum allowable mud density will be equal to the surface LOT pressure divided by my casing shoe TVD into 0.052 plus my LOT mud density. Now on placing the values, I will get my answer as 14.25 pound per gallon. Again a very simple numerical. All we have to do is to remember this formula. Okay, let's move further. In this particular example, we need to calculate the influx height and the gradient associated. Okay, now it is given that my SIDPP is 500 psi, SICP is 610 psi, my kick volume is given as 10 barrel, my drill pipe into open hole, that means the capacity, that is the space between my drill pipe and the annual open hole, is 0.0459 barrel per feet, and my volume or the capacity or the space between the drill collar and the open hole is given as 0.03 barrel per feet. My drill collar length is given as 600 feet, hole size is 8.5 inch, TVD is 10,000 feet, and my mud weight is 10 pound per gallon. We need to calculate the influx height, gradient, and the nature of influx. Let's look at the solution. To find out the height of the influx, we know it would be equal to the influx volume divided by my annulus capacity. So the influx volume would be 10 divided by 0.03, where 0.03 is my annular capacity of drill collar and the open hole. Okay, on doing that, my height of the influx would be 333 feet. Now you would be wondering why I took 0.03 and why not 0.049. So let's look at that particular reason. Influx that can be across the drill collar is 600. 600 is my BHA length. Okay, that is my drill collar length into the capacity of drill collar. Capacity of annular into the annular capacity of the drill collar. That would be 18 barrel. Okay, since the volume of the kick is only 10 barrel, that means my kick remains in the drill collar annular space. Okay, since my drill collar annular space can accommodate 18 barrels of kick fluid, but in the question it was given as 10 barrel. That's why I will be taking 0.03 for calculation of height of influx. Okay, now let's move further. Now to find out the influx gradient, this is the formula to find out the influx gradient. It is a very important formula. Influx gradient will be equal to the mud weight into 0.052 into the difference of SICP and SIDPP divided by influx height. A very important formula. On placing the values, I will get my influx gradient as 0.189 psi per feet. 0.189 psi per feet. Okay, so this is my influx gradient, and my nature of influx would be 0.189 into 10,000, because 10,000 is my TVD. So it will turn out to be 3.6 pound per gallon. Okay, now again we know if my influx lies between 1 to 3 pound per gallon, it is a gas influx. If it lies between 3 to 8, it's an oil influx, and if it lies between 8 to 10, then it is a water influx. Okay, since it is 3.6, I can say that this particular influx is oil. All right, I have two examples based on gas migration theory. Let's look at it. In example 1, I have to estimate the gas migration rate in a shut well with a mud weight of 10 pound per gallon, and I need to calculate that in feet per hour. Okay, I have no additional data. I have only this much data available with me. Now this is the formula that we will be using when we need to calculate the gas migration rate in a shut well. Okay, now the formula is 12 into e to power minus 0.37 into mud weight. Okay, my answer would be in feet per second, and my mud weight has to be taken in ppg. Okay, now on placing the values, I will get 0.3 feet per second. Okay, since I have to find out my answer in feet per hour, I will multiply 3600. So my gas migration rate would be 1080 feet per hour. Okay, so that's example 1, and now let's look at the example 2 of gas migration theory. Now in this particular example, my actual gas migration rate I need to determine. It is given my initial shut-in casing pressure is 450 psi, shut-in casing pressure after half an hour is 650 psi, and current mud weight is given as 12.5 pound per gallon. Now let's look at the solution. My actual gas migration rate, this is the formula for finding out the actual gas migration rate. It is equal to the increase in casing pressure divided by my pressure gradient of mud. Okay, where my increase in casing pressure would be in psi per hour and my pressure gradient of mud would be in psi per feet. Now let's calculate it. My pressure increase in half an hour is given as 650 minus 450. Okay, since my initial shut-in casing pressure is 450 and my shut-in casing pressure after half an hour is 650, so increase in half an hour would be 650 minus 450, which is 200 psi. Now for half an hour it is 200, then for 1 hour it would be 400 psi. Okay, now mud weight gradient, if we need to calculate it, so it would be 0.052 into my mud weight, current mud weight. So that will give me 0.65 psi per feet as my mud weight gradient. So once I have this increase in casing pressure and my pressure gradient of mud, my actual gas migration rate would be, I just have to put the values in the formula. My answer would be 616 feet per hour. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you and Jai Hind.